Buffalo Bills make the playoffs for the first time since 1999. Sean McDermott, one of the coaches, and there have been many of them along the way that weren't able to do what McDermott did, and that is get the Buffalo Bills to the postseason. A wild Sunday with the Bengals winning and the way they won in Baltimore against the Ravens. And then, of course, the Bills taking care of business against Miami. Vic Carucci joins us here on Big Board Sports, been covering Buffalo Bills football for a very long time, one of the outstanding columnists with the Buffalo News, and he joins us here on Big Board Sports 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio in Albany. Good morning, Vic. Roger Weiland, Chris Honorado, how are you?
I am great. Happy New Year to both of you.
Same to you, Vic. And been a while since we spoke, but I'm back in the day. I spoke to you on a regular basis about Buffalo. And here, look, what can you say? If you're a Bills fan, right, you are thrilled beyond belief. And this is first time since '99. I mean, at least we can quit talking about are the Bills making the playoffs. Yes, they've made the playoffs, right, Vic?
Yeah, they have. The euphoria continues in Western New York, even through this incredible freezing cold weather that I know you're sharing down there in Albany. And it's pretty remarkable what happens, and the difference is because obviously I covered the Super Bowl years, those salad great years that seem so long ago. And then during this drought, this whole idea that it felt like it would never be good again for this Buffalo team. And what you're seeing, and of course the big difference now and then, is social media, where people get to share their stories more easily, and it doesn't take long to start becoming familiar with hearing how people's lives evolved over 17 years. A woman was talking about, when it started, she was this little kid, and now she's married with kids of her own through this whole drought. So the stories like that are kind of amazing.
They really are, and I'm glad to see. I mean, there's a lot of Buffalo fans here in the capital region that have just been hoping and waiting that something good would happen. I guess you give Sean McDermott some credit for the job he's done as a rookie coach in year number one, right?
A lot of credit. It really starts with the program that he put in place. It hasn't been perfect. There have been decisions that were made, not the least of which was benching Tyrod Taylor for that game against the Los Angeles Rams and going with the Chargers and going with the rookie and deciding in that game that they had a better shot with Nathan Peterman at quarterback, who proved to be woefully ill-prepared to play quarterback and throws those 5 interceptions, historically bad half. Now, would they have won the game with Tyrod Taylor? Would it have made a difference? Who knows? But the one thing I can be pretty sure about with Taylor, and you could probably too, knowing his career, he's not throwing those 5 first-half interceptions. But that aside, I think he's changed McDermott's changed this team's, not only its in terms of its content of players, its roster. He churned that in a big way, but he's also changed the attitude, and there has been a noticeable difference in the way they approach things. And I think, again, it's because of the direction he's providing, but it's also because of the types of players he's incorporated. He doesn't have all the kinds of guys he wants on this team, but he's got a lot of them.
Vic, I know you've got a busy morning, so I'll save my Tyrod Taylor future question for the future when we hopefully catch up with you again in the offseason. One guy, of course, I'm happy for is Kyle Williams. In the moments you had to speak with him, knowing this may be his last season, and that game in Miami could have been his last in the NFL and with the Bills, what were the emotions like speaking with Kyle Williams?
Yeah, it's such an interesting topic because one of the things that I think Sean McDermott has done exceptionally well is he's identified Kyle as the rallying point for the entire team. So, yes, Kyle has expressed a lot of the emotion about it, and obviously having that chance to carry for that 1-yard touchdown, the first of his career, added to the excitement. He's finding a second wind. He won't talk in specific terms about this being it for him, but there's sort of like this understanding that we all have. The way he savored the last regular season home game against Miami at New Era Field, and I think that, again, exchanging high fives with fans, posing for pictures with fans after coming off the field, all of that spoke to a guy who sort of knows, what's kind of maybe ahead for him, and that this is the last hurrah and last shot. And I really think, because his name came up so much in the locker room, I think players bought into this idea that this is as much for Kyle as it is for them.
Well, Vic, now that they're in, can they win a game in Jacksonville and going up against Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone, the former Buffalo coach? I guess a lot depends on the health of LaShawn McCoy this week as well. But what are your thoughts about this Sunday, and can they get it done in Jacksonville, win a game?
Yeah, Roger, I think it's a matchup they can definitely win. And I say it first in a broader sense that other than New England or outside of New England, outside of Pittsburgh, I'm not sure that there's any other team in the AFC that you can just embrace and say, oh, yeah, they've got it too. Jacksonville has that great defense, and a lot of people have pointed to that, but it's not like they've played great these last couple of weeks, and it's not like anyone through this whole season, you've been watching as closely as anybody, you could say in the AFC, there's a lot of mediocrity, and that means there's a lot of room for a team like Buffalo. You put anybody in this tournament, and they can shock and surprise. And the matchup I see with Jacksonville is that I think this defense, as great as it's played, also has some vulnerabilities that we've seen other teams take advantage of. Tyrod Taylor's movement is going to help there, but he's got to be able to make some throws. You're not going to get away with just doing it with your feet or playing it safe. You mentioned about LaShawn McCoy. What's his health going to be like? I see a guy pushing through on an ankle that apparently isn't damaged according to X-rays, but I just see it as an old pro saying, look, whatever it takes, get this real numb, get me out there, and I'll play. And that it's kind of down to that, a veteran who is not going to miss a chance to play in the postseason. What kind of LaShawn you get remains to be seen, and their depth is pretty questionable there. The other thing is, can their defense stand up to Leonard Fournette? If the Jags got a big offensive line, if they go all power and they're able to play a power game offensively, that could be trouble for Buffalo.
Vic, I appreciate a few minutes. I know you got a busy day, busy morning, all of that going on with everything happening with the Bills in the postseason, and you've been great over the many years, do great work for the Buffalo News, and thanks for a few minutes here in Albany where there are a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, I can tell you that.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you guys. This is a fun thing to do. I don't go in with rooting interests. I really don't. It's best, as you know, in our business to stay neutral and tell a story and let the fans go crazy or be upset. We kind of, but I appreciate a different story to write about and talk about, and that's what makes it fun. But yeah, we're going to get to a lot of, whenever this ends, a lot of those difficult questions, like you said, Tyrod Taylor. What's his future like, and so forth. I'll say right now, from a PR standpoint, that guy being the quarterback of record for the end of the drought, and if they were to win at least a playoff game with him at quarterback, good luck with selling the fans on, we're going to get somebody else that you don't know about, next year quarterback. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Oh, good stuff, fun stuff. Vic, thank you. Happy New Year to you, my man.
Same to you guys.